Alright, we got here a 2021 Honda Super Cub. This is one of my most favorite all-around bikes. I get it, it's not a powerful race bike like my 600RR I'll be getting once again, but this is like the perfect bike to take around town, to just do errands. Like in Arlington, parking's pretty limited now. So I go get food at like the taco shop, I can just run over here, put it on the sidewalk, or find a space in between two cars. Try to take a car there, looking for places, gotta pay parking fees. Nope. This is, it's like a bicycle with an engine, that's what I call it. And the reason I like this one, a little more than the ADV 150 is the tires. The wheels are bigger and the tires are bigger, so it rides more like a normal motorcycle, yet it's lighter than the ADV because, well, it's a single seater, but it's got like a manual transmission, and it's just, the ADV is big, it's a bigger engine, it's got liquid cooling, this doesn't. So this one, if I rode it in the summer on the hottest days, it hasn't gotten any problem with overheating, but it's like it could possibly, it's just not worth it to try to damage your engine on running it on days it's not designed for. The looks of this is just remarkable. The price point, I think, is $37.99 MSRP, but then you pay like $1,000 in dealer fees. I got this one on eBay. Guy was over in upper New Jersey or Pennsylvania, I can't remember, but he basically just got it, he changed his mind, and dealer didn't want to offer anything back, so I like rode up there, and yeah, I think it had like 11 miles on it, brand new. I mean, it's still got 240 miles, hasn't been broken in. I've owned 108 motorcycles, I own 9 right now, so this is one of the ones I will not put for sale because this is one I want to keep for a while. So ADV 150 and this one are my two that I'm not going to sell. All my other ones pretty much are on the, well, maybe the steampunk bike I got, I might have to keep that one. And the Honda Monkey, I like that one too, but this one like is a daily driver, inexpensive to own, inexpensive to insure. The only issue, it doesn't have a second seat or pegs, but it does in Thailand or every other country in the Southeast Asia, because they found that Americans are just too heavy compared to the average Thai or Filipino or whatever countries there, because we eat like a much heavy diet, so you can't really put two like 180-pound people on this. But you can put like two 120-pound people. So I'm in the 190 range, but I'm not like fat, I just tall and like I work out a lot, so it's like I think I will get a seat. So you get a rack right here and the seat goes on top, and then this is where the in Thailand where the pegs would go, so you could tap them, but I think they have a peg kit that like basically utilizes 1, 2, 3. I saw it on like eBay, and I think it's called Bees something, but that's like the site, so I just haven't got around to it. The other thing too, I want a side stand. These singles, just having a one stand that goes in the middle, it's okay, but it takes a little more energy, and I don't know, I mean, this doesn't have this clutch. Oh, that's one of the most unique things. So it has a shifter, but there's no clutch. It's never, I guess it's like ATV technology. I never had a bike like this, and that's why I'm fascinated by it, because I actually do like shifting without the clutch on a bike like this, because then I can do videos. I can use my left hand to hold the camera, or if I go get a meal, I can just use my left hand to hold my thing. This is really easy to ride with one hand. I don't recommend it. I just do it like, if I'm going around town and I want to like, hold something versus like try. There's no place to strap it down, even over here. Unlike my ADV scooter, which has got a big area, this is not that big. You can't really strap it with a thing here. That's going to hit the tire, and it's going to mark up the paint. But the exhaust, I'll turn on in a second. Perfect. It's not too loud, not too it's not loud at all. It doesn't burn you at all because it's got that shield. Let me see if I can turn on. All right, so now the ignition's on. It's the keys in my pocket. That's pretty crazy for a bike at this price point to have an electronic ignition. And then there's like a button here, so let's see here, it doesn't like that. Let's see. So I put in another setting, and like it was able to open with this button right here. And then it's got another button here which pushes out that, which is where you put your toolkit and maybe like your registration. But I mean, simple as can be. That's why the ADV is superior to this, because you can actually have storage for helmets and maybe a laptop or something. This has 0 storage, but whatever. I don't use it for that anyways. And I stuck a charge cord because in the winter I might not drive it as much. This is stock. Like I said, I'm gonna get those 4 things: rack, seat, pegs, and a side stand. And that's all you need. Oh yeah, I got this little thing to hold the phone. I don't like it. It's rattling too much, so I'll get another one that's a little more beefy. Let's see here. Yeah, let me just grab my phone real quick. All right, so yeah, the history is kind of interesting. So this was designed in 1958. It is the world's most mass-produced vehicle ever created. It was designed to be an inexpensive solution for people to get around, which is what we need today. In fact, if this was ever made into an electric vehicle, or the ADV 150 into an electric vehicle, I mean, that's the future. And that's why I like all manufacturers. All the Japanese companies are doing a great job. But Honda, for some reason, so Soichiro Honda was a visionary. He like got in trouble in like elementary school making like fake report cards, and his dad, instead of like yelling at him about that, said, "You do better next time at baking," which is pretty. He didn't stifle his entrepreneur spirit. I won't go into the whole story. Basically, Soichiro Honda was he started out like in a shop working on stuff, and then he created like piston rings, and then he actually raced the vehicles he was designing. You don't get that today. That was 1950s and 60s because it wasn't as competitive. But I mean, today you have very specific teams. One is a race. That's all the race person does, is just focus on racing. The others are on engine. So he did it all. He could fix his motorcycle or car and then race it, which is. It's really incredible, but he lived during a different time. So he partnered with his friend, I think it was with F, I'll have to look it up, but they basically were a good team because he focused on the engineering and the other partner focused on finance and marketing. So the reason this became so popular was they got a marketing campaign saying, you meet the nicest you meet the nicest people on a Honda. And this is remembered during, I think, the 1950s, 60s, that where like people were driving like Harleys, and there's like Easy Rider, and they had like loud pipes and kind of like that bad boy bike culture. And here you have this thing, and it did have a double seat back then, so you could have like a partner. And they had like these like people in California, like a nice looking guy, thin, like kind of preppy with his like girlfriend or wife or whatever, and it was clever. And they actually the advertising agency bought that design from a UCLA student. I bet you that student had no idea how much value that design would have carrying over to making a successful bike. But I mean, they could use that same today. And again, in Arlington, this is a place where it's perfect for these type of vehicles because you can drive around and park them anywhere. They don't. This is like I think 140 miles a gallon. I mean, that's insanely efficient for gas, and they don't cause traffic, and the parking's minimal. So the only issue, a lot of people I think in America don't ride motorcycles, that they are dangerous, and it gets cold, and a lot of people don't know how to ride it, and they don't have a place to park it because here you have to pay for parking. If you don't have parking, you save like $125 a month. So this, I would think the parking would give a discount, but you never know. Maybe they don't. Just a couple things I pulled up. So it's got like 9 horsepower. So this engine is used in the Grom and the Honda Monkey. They made a new Grom recently, and it's a 2022 Honda engine. It's a 125 that apparently is like a little higher compression, and it's got like a 5-speed gearbox for the Grom and Monkey. So this probably has the same. Like it's probably they updated the gearbox and the engine. But right now, I mean, you're talking like minimal updates because it's going to be like. I mean, these things are so like low performance that they're not designed to. It's not gonna make that much of a difference. I think the 5th gear is good for like overdrive or whatever, which is good if you want to have like a way to, take it for long drives. So I actually drive this on the highway. I don't know if you technically are supposed to. I think it's like on the borderline of like fast enough. I get mine up to 60. The thing, I don't take it on the highway purposely. It's just like if I'm in an area and I gotta get home, this might be the only chance. And to take the roads in DC, like the back roads, it just would take too much time. It's like more dangerous too. You have more risk of getting hurt. So you have to weigh the value of going city street roads versus like the highway. And this one, if you're in a full tuck, it's no problem. 60 miles an hour. It doesn't like go back and forth or anything. It's pretty. Even though it's lightweight, it's pretty solid in terms of steel through press, steel monocoat underbone for the frame, front, and it's got actually, this is old data. I'm looking at the 1958 specs. Okay, so yeah, it's got a front disc and a rear drum. pretty much and oh, it's got ABS, which is incredible. I actually had to activate it one time. This person was like got in front of me. It was like a kid running, so I just like slammed on the brake, and it did its job. Like, I mean, it really stopped me on the dime. But generally, like a scooter like this, it's not going to have much of a stopping issue, or like trying to lock your wheel up, because it's only got one disc and such a low speed. So generally, like, good to have, not necessarily as big a deal as, like, say, a race bike or something. And let's see if there was another. Oh yeah, here's the statement from Honda's site: the world's favorite bike, machine that changed motorcycle in America. It's true. And then put the world in two wheels. Actually, it was the first time when Honda or Japanese bikes were selling more than American and British bikes in the United States in the early 60s. So this was one of the reasons. What else? Yeah, so now it actually looks more or less like the old bike. It just, obviously, like, everything's been redesigned. I think they've raced them together, and this is this is faster and everything. But yeah, this design is actually pretty practical, because the front is, it's got like this big, like, kind of fairing, so it protects you from, like, road debris, like getting shot up on your pants. There's nothing better than a big scooter, honestly, if you want to just, like, wear a suit and not get dirty. This is close, except that you will get, like, stuff kicking up, like, on the bottom over here. So this is good for what it does, but if you want to keep your shoes, like, well, actually this is good because it's got a two shifters, so you don't have to, like, shift with the top of your toe, so that won't scuff your shoe up. But the scooter, again, it's more of a better system to, like, try to keep yourself clean from this, like, debris or rain or whatever. Let's see what else. Yeah, so just basically talking about, like, why this was, like, such a great seller for its time and now. And I think in, like, other countries, like, this is what people own. Like, I mean, like, especially, like, if you could buy this for, like, $3,000 equivalent in Thailand, I mean, you could put your whole family. And again, these are Hondas. They don't break much. So I really think it's unfortunate it's not popular in our country, except that our gas is so cheap. Like, why would you want to have to ride one of these when you can, like, get a big SUV and pay, like, what, $2, $3 a gallon? This will all change one day, especially when cities start banning, like, fossil fuel cars, and that's probably coming, like, 2030 or something. Let's take a quick drive. So that's how it's like to start it up. It's like push the button, there's no clutch. It's got the very simple design, which is nice. High beam, horn, blinker. I don't even think it has a odometer for your trip. It's just like one, like, neat overall odometer. The clock. Actually, look at this. Interesting. No, it does have a trip. I never used it. Okay, so this is the button right here. It just shows ABS. And so to ride it, like, this is why I love doing camera work on this, because it's like, I mean, like all the other bikes I'm doing with a clutch, I have to put the camera down, I'll hold the clutch in, but not this one. I mean, this is lightweight too, so it's easy just to maneuver. I mean, just with one hand. When you downshift, you have to do it at the right number, because if you do it too fast, it will damage the engine. That's the only thing that's a little tricky with this gearbox. The crotch rockets I drive, it doesn't really matter when you downshift. But this one is, you can really feel it. Maybe it's like a close gear ratio. All right, let's do one more acceleration. So that's the Honda Super Cub. I highly recommend getting one. I try to find one used so you don't have to pay a huge dealer fee, but this is definitely one of the best bikes I've ever owned, and I'd highly recommend it to anyone. Out.